First of all, thank you to those that made it up here today. I really appreciate it. And I know my mom appreciates you making the trip. I know there'll be a lot more people at the funeral tomorrow. So thank you for coming tonight. As you can see by the photos, the pictures, the slideshow, there was a lot of memories that we had with my dad. Still can't believe that he's gone. But he is, and we must move on. He was the strength that carried this family. But there was so many sides that even I'm learning about right now. My mom was sharing with me the other day, he used to dance for her in front of the TV. He used to practice his cowboy slide, or whatever that is, Texas two-step, or whatever it is, but it would come on the TV, and he'd hop up out of his chair and dance, and he would sing to her. Some of the songs you heard tonight were songs that he would sing to her. So these were all quiet, fun moments that my mom had with my dad. But he was a pretty witty guy. He was pretty quick sometimes. He would come back with some pretty funny things. It's just real hard right now that he's gone. I think back at all the lessons he taught us. Not so much like he was teaching us, but by his actions. Lord knows Randy had a lot of those teachable moments. My dad was a perfectionist. Everything he did, it had to be perfect. And, Randy worked alongside him for many years at Lockheed. And a lot of the skills that Randy has today are because of my dad and how tough he was on him. But I know he did it out of love. And it's made us all what we are today. Bass Lake was probably one of his the best places for him. It was good therapy. It was good for him to be on the lake. Floating on the lake, having fun with his friend Kelly, fishing, cruising on his pontoon, flying his 82nd Airborne flag. It's a special spot. And he shared that with all of us. So he lives on through us. There's just so many memories. I'm just heartbroken. I miss it a lot. So again, thank you for coming tonight. And anybody else that wants to share, they're more than welcome to share. Apparently we're Zooming this. I don't know where to, but we're Zooming across the country, so I hope that people that are watching enjoy the slideshow and enjoy what people have to say about him tonight. So again, thank you for coming.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for all coming on behalf of my uncle. I can't believe he's gone. I love him so much. He's the best uncle I ever had in my life. He's been there when I was a child. He was like my dad. Nobody ever knew, but I do. He changed my ways, my thinking, my life. I remember the days that when we were young in my grandma's house in Alcerino, my Aunt Terry, Pocoito, Randy, Laura would come over every day. We'd have dinner together. My grandpa would cook a lot of food. And he was a good man. He was humble. He was blessed. I feel he's going to be missed by all of us, especially the ones that are really close to him. I felt that if he was here right now, things will be better. You know, he did a lot. He was a strong man. He's very humble. He was blessed. So whatever he did in his life, he was very creative. My uncle had a shop over there in Temple City, the Collaso Furniture. Me, Randy, Ada, Laura would go over there, help out my tia, every day. And he would make his first chair for his mother, my grandma. It was so beautiful. My abuelita was so happy when she got that rocking chair. And he used to cook, and he showed me how to cook hamburger meat with green peas. And I was like, man, with flour tortillas, this is so good. It's like, I couldn't stop eating those burritos, you know? They were so good. But those were the good times I spent with him. And then there's times that when we used to go to Bass Lake, I was young, and all those were together. We were close to the Collaso was very close when my abuelita was living. And we grew up in Alcerino, but the times that there was a van that would bring us back home, and that was my Uncle Ada's van. And my mom used to say, where's my son? The one with the long hair. And I was so dark, you know, because there's no barber shops, and I was in over there like 6 months. And it was good, you know. He taught me how to water ski. I learned how to do 2 skis. I hot doggy. Man, we had so much fun, and you know, those days had good memories I could share with you guys, you know, our family, you know. It's like, can't bring back those memories, you know, but you can just, like, all night I couldn't sleep. I was like, what am I gonna say? I don't need to write nothing down. I have it in my memory. I remembered a lot of good times that I had with my uncle. And I got to share his moment with you guys. But to go on with our childhood and our lifestyle, my Uncle Adolph, you know, he started his family and he moved to Diamond Bar. And my cousins went to great schools. They became good people in life, and they enjoyed, you know, Catholic school, and they became good persons. And my uncle, he was a strong man. He made the best for his family. And, you know, and my tia, Aunt Terry, it's like those things I remember, you know. And just living forward in his life, you know, his legacy that he's brought here today, that I wish he was still here, but he's brought a lot of good things in our lives, so we can realize and we can capitalize on things that we didn't know, but he knew, because he was a humble man. He knew his blessed. He had a lot of things for him, a lot of things going in. And as being a young kid, and I realized and I seen all this about my uncle. A lot of people, I wanted one day, he goes, I'm going to take you to Texas to Apostle Texas. Go see your relatives. I never got that chance to go with him. But like, I was young, 16 years old. I lived in Texas for a while. I lived in Juarez. I love a lot of my family, Sarate family, they're Collasos, they're third cousins. And I've seen a lot of stuff as a young kid. And I can experience this because I'm here today. And you know, life's too short. With the grace of God, you know, he's changed my life. My uncle, my aunts, they all love me. I love them. It's like, I wish my whole family were together again. It's like, little by little, our family's going. And you know, we gotta be humble. We gotta take that treasure and build our families back together. And don't be a stranger. Say hi and get numbers. And you know, like we're gonna be having a reunion pretty soon. And I'm, you know, just, is this what we take for our relative, our uncle, one of the families who passed away? And we have to be like this. You know, I've been through so many, you know, uncles and tias and everything, and I got to see that. You know, my mom passed away. It's like, I lost it, but you know what? I got a good heart. I'm humble, and by the grace of God, you know, we're still living today. And I love my uncle very much. You know, he taught me a lot. He changed my ways. I had some bad habits. I would go like this. We used to go drive from El Sereno to Diamond Bar. And I stopped doing what I used to do. Don't do that. I was just picking up things, picking my eyes a lot. Don't be players. But I feel, you know, he talked to me, and times that when we're helping out there, Apple Valley, I would take some menudo to my tia, and he would love that menudo. We would talk. He would tell me stuff, and he was sincere. He was sincere, and nobody wanted him. But see, I'm a grown man now, and I would listen to my uncle because he would tell the truth. And he didn't hide nothing. He would tell the truth, and you know, it's going to be like this, and it's not. You know, he'll tell you just like it is. And I was like, man, I can't believe, you know, my uncle he was telling me, and I'm an older man now, and I'm still listening to him, you know, because he's a great person, you know, he's very blessed and humble, like I said. But man, I was so happy with my uncle, you know, I missed him a lot, you know, I do miss him now, but I just still, like my nephew, my cousin Adolph says that he can't believe his dad's gone. I still can't believe it. I still, you know, he's still here, you know. But it's hard. It's a hard thing, you know, to just realize everything that's done, and we all grown that, and we learn from our mistakes. I learned from my mistakes, but you know, I truly love him there with my heart, and I always pray for him and Aunt Terry, all my relatives, you know, because I'm a Christian now. I'm a believer. I believe in Christ, and I pray for all my family that, you know, that someday, you know, coming into reality, and we don't forget where we came from, you know, because life's too short. But thank you very much, everybody, for sharing this little opportunity I got to see and talk about. You know, I got to see my family again, and I just felt something that, you know, I can't believe it, you know. I feel the sorrow and the pain that I went through, and I know my aunt, Terry, my cousins, and Randy and Laura, I went through the suffering, you know, because they lost their father, you know. It was a pride and joy. He's the one that carried that legacy, you know, that they wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for their dad. And my uncle, Adolph Collaso, Garcia Collaso. And it's like those memories that my brother would tell me too. He's like, where's Garcia come from? That was my grandpa's maiden name, Garcia, before they changed it Collaso, because he had something with Pancho Villa back in the days, a little, you know, conflict. But it became Collaso. But the legacy came as Adolph Garcia Collaso. So our family is like, we've got a lot of our story memories about our family that we don't even know about. And it's good to share that moments of our past, you know. But I'm showing up people a lot of memories, a lot of good memories. And, just want to thank everybody for sharing this precious time with you guys. In Jesus' name, amen.
My mom really liked this poem inside the folder, and so I wanted to read it out loud for her so that she could just listen to the words. To those I love, when I'm gone, release me, let me go. You mustn't tie yourself to me with tears. Just be happy that we had so many years. I gave you my love, you can only guess how much you gave to me in happiness. I thank you for the love you each have shown, but now it's time I traveled alone. So grieve a while for me, if grieve you must. Then let your grief be comforted by trust. It's only for a while that we must part. So bless the memories within your heart. I won't be far away, for life goes on. So if you need me, call, and I will come. Though you can't see or touch me, I'll be near. And if you listen with your heart, you'll hear all of my love around you, soft and clear. And then, when you must come this way alone, I'll greet you with a smile and say, love you all. Thank you, cousin. You brought a lot of memories that sometimes you forget. My dad taught us a lot. He's always there for us. He was a good provider. Taught us a lot about life. How to forgive. How to look at all sides before you make an action, decision. He wasn't a man. He was a man of many words, but you look in his eyes and you knew what he said. Brought us up and down the bar. I remember all the family come over. We always had parties. All the cousins get together, sneak out, roam around in the streets. It was fun having it close by, and then, like we said, we get busy and move on with our lives. And we need to get back together. And I think with my dad's passing, I think we need to just come together as a family and continue to celebrate life and the joys that one has with all of us. My sister's in Texas, Chris is in Vegas, we're all over. But we need to make time and just love one another. Can I miss you, Dad? Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here to celebrate my dad. And I want to share with you what I think the biggest gift that my dad and my mom gave to me and my brothers. most important things to my dad were God and family. And that's what gives me the strength today, is my faith. And the faith that I have in my dad, and the faith that my dad had in God. We know that we all are going to be accountable for all of our actions one day. And I pray I pass the muster like I know my dad did. And I know that my dad is in heaven. And I know God said, "Son, well done." He passed on faith to all of us and those that knew him. So I know that one day I will be with him again. And that's what gives me strength too. We all believe in the resurrection. We believe that, Jesus will come again. If we're still here, we'll be taken up. And so we just need to be right with God and try our best every day to do that. He's given us a path to follow. All we have to do is open the book. Everything is there. Every problem that you have can be solved by reading the Bible and what Jesus said, what he said to do in every situation. My dad was always there for me and my mom. And he was very protective of me. My brother Adolph, anything that happened to me was Adolph's fault, because he was the oldest. And he should have anticipated what my moves would be and be able to cut me off. But, I don't know, some people say I'm stubborn, but sometimes I don't see that. And my dad would always believe me. And I have to apologize to my brother Randy, because he took some spankings for me. I just had to say Randy did it, and my dad would believe me. And Randy would say, "I didn't do it, Dad, I didn't do it." But it didn't matter what Randy said. It mattered that I said that I didn't do it and Randy did, so that was that. So I'm sorry, Randy, for all the spankings and scoldings that you got in my place. And there's another story that I don't know if it's kind of funny or not, but it just shows how protective my dad was of me. He didn't let me have boyfriends. So I remember this one time I met this guy, Daryl, but I forgot to tell him that my dad didn't allow me to have boyfriends. And I think even to this day, Dad didn't answer the phone. And one reason was because every time he answered the phone, they would hang up on him. Well, that was because that was instructions I gave to any guy that I, started seeing or whatever. But the relationship never lasted very long because there was too many rules. My dad answered the phone, you had to hang up. You saw my dad's truck in the driveway, you had to leave. So you had to kind of scout things out before you went up to my house. Well, I didn't get a chance to tell Daryl this, because he was a little bit older than me by about 3 years. So my dad came home early, which was unexpected. And Daryl came to the house. My dad answered the door. I was over at my friend Michelle's house, and of course Adolph got yelled at first because Daryl was there, and my dad asked first, "Who are you?" He says, "Well, I'm here to see Laura, she's my girlfriend." And I don't know what happened there. Adolph could probably tell you more, but Adolph ran down the street over to Michelle's house to tell me that Daryl's there and Dad's yelling at him in the front yard. And I'm like, oh my God. Do I go home or just run away now? This is it. And so I didn't come home in time, so Adolph had to come back and try and get me. So I finally made the walk home, and my dad is in the front yard, and Daryl's standing there And my dad looks at me and says, "Do you know this guy?" I said, "No, Daddy. I've never seen him before in my life, I promise." And he says, "Get in the house." And that's all I remember. So I think that was one of the last boyfriends I had. I think that was probably in 10th grade or something like that. And I'm sure Adolph got a shellacking for it because he allowed that to happen. So sorry for that, Adolph. But my dad, he taught me a lot of things too about, perfection. I don't know if you saw the picture there where we were resetting the post at Bass Lake with the address on there. But he had so I dug the hole and I put the post in there and put the concrete, and he had the level on the side of it to make sure that it was plumb straight. But that was my dad. You always had to shoot for perfection. If he ever said, you did a good job and didn't have but at the end of it, then that was something to remember. But that didn't happen often. There was always some kind of improvement to be made. But I guess that's in life, right? Every day there's an improvement we can make in our lives. And so sometimes you mess up in a day, but you always have tomorrow you pray to make up for it. So my dad taught me a lot. He taught me how to swim. He taught me how to camp. I loved the week-long summer vacations we had at Bass Lake, and we camp in a tent. And I tried to pass that on to my nephews. Andrew, he went camping with us one time. I was in the motorhome and he was in the tent. And we had a fire one night. Remember that, Andrew? And so, since we had the RV, I had my mom's BMW. And so Sandy couldn't drive the RV, so I had to drive the RV, and she didn't know how to drive a stick, so that was kind of hard. So the fire was at the entrance, and so we just left the tent there and everything. I pulled up the jacks in the RV, got Andrew, woke him up from a sleep, because you were in the tent. It's like, we gotta go, there's a fire. So we jump in the RV, and Sandy's trying to drive the BMW, and we went over to the dam and camped there. And then they put the fire out, I guess, and it wasn't that big of a fire, but I guess I panicked and I was worried because I had Andrew. And so when we drove back in, it was like, everyone was like, "Oh, you guys came back." We thought you weren't going to come back as fast as you guys left. And so we did come back and set our camp back up. And I think that was the last time you went camping with us, Andrew. So there was a lot of good times, but my dad taught us how to set up a tent, set a fire, set up a camp where you put your food so the bears don't get it. And he was just a great man. And whenever I needed him, he was there. As you know, I tried to join the Army right after I graduated from high school, but I was 17 when I graduated. So when I went home and told my parents I wanted to go in the Army, they wouldn't sign the contract. So I went to college for a year, and then I came home and told them I signed up, because I was already 18, so I could sign a contract. So after I went in, basic training was fine, but then when I got to advanced training at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, I ran into some different people that I wasn't used to growing up with. Everyone I grew up with had a mom and a dad that lived in the same house. We didn't cuss. It was just different. So when I went into the Army, that's all walks of life. And it wasn't until then that I realized what a privileged and special, blessed life I had and family I had. So anyways, back to the story. So these girls were picking on me. They're trying to pick a fight with me, but there was more than them than me. And things got kind of rough in advanced training. I don't know if you ever saw that movie, Private Benjamin. Did any of y'all ever see that movie? Did she join the Army because of the condos and whatnot? Well, I had kind of a similar experience in that when I was there and had such a hard time, I called my mom and my dad and told them about it, and I was crying, and so my dad sent my mom out with my little brother Christopher, and they helped me out. You know, my mom was able to stay there with me for a couple weeks, and I ended up, well, of course, she went to her senator and got them involved, and the senator called Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and so anyways, so my mom was a representative of the senator, or congressman, it was representative congressman that went down to Fort Jackson, South Carolina. So bottom line is, they came to me when I needed it. And so what happened, because of all that, I came to a pivotal moment there in my life. I was in the commander's office with my mom, Christopher, and me, and they said, what do you want to do? Do you want to go home? Or we could transfer you to another unit. So I thought back at Private Benjamin movie when she was sitting there with her parents, with the commander, and she stood up and said, I'm gonna stay. So that's what I did. I knew my parents were behind me when nothing would happen to me that my parents couldn't help me get out of. So I stayed and completed basic training. And then, you know, you feel so strong after, you know, you go through all that training, physically and mentally, that you feel like you can do anything. So I wanted to be airborne just like my dad. But fortunately, my dad talked me out of it, or else I'd be probably having back problems right now. So I'm grateful for his wise advice in that respect. And I continued my Army career, and I remember when my dad was there, when I was promoted to major, and he pinned the oak leaf clusters on. Andy was there too, and all of my family was there. So I'm always grateful for my family. They're always there for big moments in my life, and I just appreciate family. And I get all that from my dad and from my mom, because they provided a great home for us to grow up in. And one more thing that my parents gave to me as a great gift when I was 10 years old. They brought Christopher into my life. And Christopher was my Pooh Bear. He was my, you know, girls at that age, 10 years old, they want a live doll, you know, that they could play with. And I got one. And I was able to change him. I mean, he peed and he pooped and he ate. And I pushed him around in the stroller, and I changed him his clothes probably like 3 times a day. I could, you know, he had a lot of clothes, I could just change him like we would change the doll. And I would put him on the back of my bicycle and take him for rides. So he was a lot of fun when I was 9, 10 years old growing up with him. And I remember we used to give him birthday parties, which were a lot of fun for me and my friend Carrie, because we would have them in the backyard at our back of our house, and we would play musical chairs, but we wouldn't stop the music, and they just kept walking around and around and around. So, I could go on with lots of stories about Christopher, but that was a great gift that my parents gave me when I was 10 years old. So I'm gonna miss my dad, but I'm gonna do the best I can every day to live right and go to the Bible whenever I need strength. I can always find it there, and I could always find it in my heart, because that's where my dad lives. So thank you for being here, and if anyone else wants to speak, I'll give up the mic. I know it's hard to give it up once you start talking about my dad and my life with him, so thank you very much.
He said, absolutely not, I believe was his words. So I was Marines instead, and I wanted to fly. I grew up with him taking me to air shows all the time, and I fell in love with aviation. And once you get that bug, you really can't shake it. And so I started flying the Marine Corps as a crew chief, and when I graduated, he was there to pin wings on me. And that was one of the proudest days I can ever remember with him. All the long roads, the work, the blood, sweat, and tears that went into it, but he taught me to persevere no matter what. And that also, no matter what, family will also always be there. Even when you're alone, or you think you're alone. I guess it wasn't until recently I realized how much of an effect he had on me and everyone around us. Wasn't really ready for this. I don't think any of us were. You try to prepare yourself and plan, but then when it happens, you just I wasn't really sure what I was going to say or if I thought it was going to come up at all. But he was my hero, and I'm going to miss him every day. Thank you.
This is my papa. And he was also one of my best friends. He made sure that you knew how much he loved you every single time you left. He always made sure to hug me and tell me how proud he was of me and that he loves me. And he would wink at me every single time. And he taught me a lot. He taught me about the importance of family. And he just taught me how to really open your heart and let people in. And he taught me about joy and having fun in life and letting things roll off your shoulder. He was just a really honorable man. And he knew how to have fun, and if you were listening closely enough, you'd catch his one-liners. And I get told a lot that I'm special in some way. And the only reason I say that is because I know that that comes from him. A lot of that comes from my grandpa. He just has a spark in his eye and a love for life that you can just see when you're around him. And it's always very comforting to be around him. And he just made you feel loved. I'm gonna miss him a lot. He has very high standards. Some would say a perfectionist. It's probably also where I get that from. And it's very particular, but I would phrase it as he was just a good steward of whatever he touched. He always wanted to take care of whatever was in front of him, whether that was a person or whether that was the address sign at Bass Lake. He was just a good steward of people and things, of everything. And I know where he is. I know that you know where he is.
We all know that he's with Jesus. He doesn't have any pain anymore. And I can't wait to see him again. But until then, I love you, Papa. And he made me who I am. So thank you, Papa and Grandma, and my whole family. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Joe Frias. I really feel the love that you have for your dad. I never had anybody like that before. And I wish I would have been able to talk to him. I was planning on talking to him this time when I get out, but I didn't make it. So, but I feel this for him and Nina, my cousins. They're good people. Thank you.